Recently, a client of ours asked me in a call, what's the difference between vertical and horizontal scaling, and at all, is this important to them at this point of their journey? And actually, with my team, we had to do some research regarding this to help this client and just to explain, the context about it. So this is a super important topic if you want to scale to 8 or even 9 figures in e-commerce or even in retail. Just to simplify terms here, I think in the first stage of an e-com business, you need to find a strong product market fit. That's the most important. You don't want to think about this vertical, horizontal scaling, not even branding. You want to find a product or a few products that a certain target audience buys. You can sell it, you can market it effectively and profitably, at least on 1, maybe 2 marketing channels. You can easily hit 100K per month, so 7-figure annual revenue using just a couple products, using maybe some Facebook ads with some email marketing or SEO and email marketing, but basically like 2 marketing channels. So find a strong product market fit first. You don't want to overthink it. Once you hit this, then ideally you want to add additional products and also additional marketing channels, and that's how most brands, they can scale to 5, even 10 million annual revenue. This is still direct response marketing, just launch new products. You also add more marketing channels over time, but at this point you are still going deeper in this audience and their needs, and also how to market to them. Once you hit this level and basically there is not much more potential, then you can think about branding more. Even with direct response marketing, you can hit $5-10 million revenue numbers. And even in small countries, I talked to a business who are based in Romania, and they generate between $500 and $1 million in Romania, and they just recently started branding. They are in the supplement niche. They target just a few audiences with their supplement products. So you can achieve surprisingly high numbers even with direct response marketing, using a couple products and a couple marketing channels. Once you hit this point, you can think about branding, and this is where you will hit 8-figure numbers even in small countries like Central Europe, in Hungary, Romania, even in Slovakia. Last year I made an interview with a brand where they got into television and radio, and now they are becoming a well-known brand, a 5 million people country, and they are multiple 8-figure in terms of revenue. So this is where you can think about branding and really just expand more, and this also drops your acquisition cost, your retention will be much better, so you become a household brand in that market. But talking about these things, we are still just going deeper in the same audience using related products. So what we touched so far, it's still vertically scaling your brand. And then there is horizontal scaling, which is a whole different level, but I want you to know this and have this in your mind as an option. Horizontal scaling, it's somewhere different. Basically, you want to add adjacent products, an adjacent category, which is less related to your original products that sell the best. Or you can also think about adding an adjacent audience. And when you think about large businesses, this is how they scaled up. So think about Coca-Cola. So their most well-known product, the household name, is Coca-Cola, the drink that you can buy. Coke, it's more than 100 years old product coming from Atlanta. I was in their museum as well 2 years ago, and I saw the story. However, they own more than 100 beverage brands at this point. So they own Fanta, Costa Cafe as well, Schweppes, CL, Gold Peak. Basically, they own a lot of brands, and these are not much related to the actual first product, which is Coke. They just horizontally scaled at one point. And then we could talk about Amazon, Google, how they added Gmail, Google Drive, G Suite as their new product, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Calendar, Google Maps. So just talk about Google endlessly. But basically they horizontally scaled. They used their advantage of scale, which in technology it's a huge thing. It can take your business to a whole different level. If you want to hit 100 million the billion in terms of annual revenue, then you will need to touch horizontal scaling. Okay, so what are the most effective ways of vertically scaling a brand? So I think these are well known by most e-com folks out there. So when it comes to vertical scaling, you can do things like new ad angles to hit different triggers, emotional triggers of your buyers. So that's one. Even new offers using the same product. And then you can also experiment with bundles, upsells, subscription. So it's part of changing the offer, right? But in a more creative way. You want to increase lifetime value or AOV by doing these. And then number 4, simply crafting your messaging. And this could be not just your ads, but also email marketing or SMS marketing, being better at messaging. And actually we have several 7-figure brands where their email revenue made $1-2 million per year, and we could double and triple it just because we were better at copywriting. So yeah, don't underappreciate this leverage point actually. This also includes your website and making it better. Also, we had a client where we made their default purchase a subscription plan instead of a one-time purchase. And now they've been steadily growing in terms of revenue. We can see great results there, and I think that was a great move. So yeah, these are the typical hacks that marketers use. And also don't forget that here we didn't even touch any of the products. You can also add products, so add SKUs targeting the same or similar audience. This is the last one I would touch on. However, if you want to hit 8 figures, you usually have to. So sooner or later, it's not enough to come up with new offers, new angles, better messaging. You want to add more offers. But this is still vertically scaling your brand. So what this truly means is just going deeper. Okay, now let's talk about horizontal scaling. And horizontal scaling, guess what it means? Not that difficult. So going wider, going broader. When you think about horizontal scaling, there is not that many ways of doing it. One I would add is international markets. Many, even smaller brands, they tap on this. That's the first move how to horizontally scale, because you can just translate everything, especially in Europe. It's a big thing. We just call it localization here. You just translate all of your marketing into a new language. We have 50 languages in Europe. And that's one way of doing that. I would say most recently it works less because the markets are becoming more sophisticated. So you need to understand the cultural context. That's the most difficult part. But still, this is a great way of horizontal scaling. Second way that you can use is using a new audience, same product. So here you want to find an audience which is different than your current audience, and you try to sell the same product for them. So for example, we have a big brand in the US selling electronic product, more specifically radios, walkie-talkies. They were already an 8-figure brand, but we could find new segments to this brand. So they sold it to hunters and workmen, but actually we figured out this could be a good tool for families. Just play with the walkie-talkie. We could sell it to people who are afraid of the Third World War, or they are fear-driven, and that's a large audience as well. We just came up with multiple audiences selling the same product. They already had a very solid AOV and returning customer rate. We just added these new audiences, we targeted them, and they could scale really fast after that. So new audience and same product. And then the third would be new products, same audience. So simply you want to solve multiple problems of the same audience as you scale. Just yesterday I talked to a CBD pet brand, and they work with the same audience, mostly dog owners, and they are launching new products to solve different issues of this audience. I would say that my preference is the second, because it's more marketing heavy and not operationally heavy. So you have to come up with new messaging and new ads, new email marketing, new landing pages, but you don't have to launch new products, because you just want to sell your products differently. And typically it's faster than introducing new products. However, this third option is more operation heavy. So here you have to launch new products, even test them, see how the audience reacts. This is typically better for those businesses who are strong on operations. So that's also something to consider. And then there could be a fourth option which almost never works. So new products, new audience. This is the one I wouldn't recommend. I don't remember when I saw a business doing this well and working for them. Regularly I can see businesses trying this and this almost never works out. So if you sell a beverage to moms to help their digestion, let's say with probiotic, then you don't want to sell a Coke to teenagers. It's just, too far. So it's just better to launch a completely different business in that case. So yeah, that's something I just wouldn't recommend to do. All right, so this is the theory, but now you may ask, okay, so should I do the vertical thing or the horizontal thing next? And the true answer is, so what you want to consider is called TAM. So what TAM stands for, Total Addressable Market. And this is a fancy term in the startup world, everyone knows this, investors know it, but what truly means you want to consider what's the total addressable market for my products with the current product range and with the current audience, and where we are in terms of where is the ceiling currently. And let's say I sell walkie-talkies to workmen only, as I said earlier, in the United States. Then you want to think about it like, okay, so what marketing channels we use, what marketing angles, ad angles we already tried. Do we have email marketing in place and how does that work? So you want to consider all aspects of your business, especially your marketing, how good you are in those, and if you already hit the ceilings regarding those. And let me tell you this, guys, so I think 95% of businesses, if not 99% of businesses, they didn't hit this ceiling yet. So actually business owners, they are really good at being optimistic and thinking that I already hit this ceiling and I already hit the total addressable market, and we just cannot grow bigger with vertical scaling. So this is what Hormozy also talks about, that you don't want to launch new things to grow, you just want to do it better what you already do and more of it, better quality and more volume. So you want to check your ads, like, okay, how many angles we try per month, what are the new ideas, have we tried bundles, upsells, different subscription options, how can we increase LTV, how can we increase AOV, how we can lower acquisition cost of the current products and current audience, what new offer we could test, what our competitors do, how can we change our messaging, what new products we could launch to the same audience. So you really want to think about it. You want to take at your competitors. Are they bigger? Are they smaller? What do they do? How we are compared to them? Again, in more than 95% of cases, there is still a lot of things to implement. And even in small countries, so like I could see brands saying at 100K in Central European countries, in one single country, thinking that they already hit the limit, but actually they didn't. And then they could scale to 500K or even $1 million per month. And these are small countries. So imagine that in the US, you could even hit an 8-figure number just by scaling vertically and going deeper. And then you start adding branding, which is still, vertically scaling actually. Yeah, just really consider that. I think most people need vertical scaling. And then once you hit those limits, like, okay, I'm the biggest player now in this niche and we tried literally everything. Now we have diminishing returns if we start a new ad angle or a new kind of offer or new bundle. So, okay, now let's start thinking about horizontally scaling. Let's go to a new country. Let's approach a new audience. Let's launch a new product range to the same audience. So you can start thinking about those, and that's horizontal scaling. But again, I think most businesses are just not there yet. So this was my answer to this client as well. Their answer is vertical scaling, just like for most e-commerce businesses out there. So I hope this video was helpful. Think about your total addressable market, vertical scaling, horizontal scaling, how you can get better. If you already have diminishing returns by vertical scaling, or it's better to focus on that first, or horizontal scaling. If you have any questions, shoot me a comment below, and see you in my next video. I hope you enjoyed, and even more importantly, you learned something from this video. Unfortunately, we can see too much shit out there. Here at Budai Media, we want to help and educate the e-commerce market with high quality marketing. In the description, I will put a guide with our top 100 email templates that you can freely download using the link. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we come out with a new video, so stay tuned. I will also add one more video for a recommendation, so see you in my next video.